Hi, it's Anne here, and today's video is my fourth update for my Pan That Palette project for 2023. So how I'm doing this project is I have a custom palette with some single shadows in it that I am working on, and then quarterly I am doing like a face palette that I'm working on, and this quarter I'm actually working on two because this one has bronzer and highlight, and then this one has blushes. So let's get into the eyeshadow palette first. This is going to be a pretty quick update. I feel like I just filmed this. I've been away, I'm going to be away more, like it's just a crazy month, so not a lot of progress in general on any of my projects. Some of my Project Pan stuff should be okay because I did take it with me when I was traveling. But for the eyeshadow palette, this is what we're working with. I'm working on all these shadows except for these two in the middle here. I've just sort of thrown them in. I've used this one. I haven't really used this one. I'm probably going to swap them out soon. But the one thing that has happened is I hit pan on the shade that I wanted to hit pan on. So let's just kind of go through these in order. So starting off with the white shade right here, haven't really used this one a whole lot. No weight change. So last month it was 1.27. It's still 1.27 grams. So difference of 0. The pink one I've been, consistently using here and there. Last month it was 1.17 grams. It's now 1.13 grams. I do have it on my eyes today, mixed with this shade and then this shade in the crease. That's the only eyeshadow I'm wearing today. Next up is this light brown shade. I've been kind of trying to remember to use this instead of this because I'll go to use this and I'm like, no, I want to try and finish this one in the middle. So this one's from this one's from the NYX Warm Neutrals palette, the light brown one, and last month it was 1.34. It's now 1.33, a difference of 0.01. And this one's also from the NYX Warm Neutrals palette. I didn't think I really used this, but it does have a weight change. So last month it was 1.25. It's now 1.23. This one is the one that I've really been focusing on. These two right here are the ones that I've really been focusing on. This one is from the Carly Bible Deluxe Edition palette from BH Cosmetics. It's close to being done. I think I'm going to repress it because it's really awkward to use right now. Pretty sure this will be done at the end of June, so I can roll it out and pull in a new shadow. I have I'll show a couple in a minute. I have 3 or 4 shadows from that palette that are all partially done or have pan in them. This one was the one that was one of the closest to being done. So that one I definitely think I can finish. Last month it was 1.04 grams. It's now 1.02 grams. That's a difference of 0.02 grams. The weight change on this will probably be pretty minimal from here on out. It might not even have a weight change because I think we're just mainly getting the weight of the pan now. I think there's so little product in there. It might have a 0.01 change next month, and that's the most I expect to see out of this. The shade here is called Pewter from Purinata. I haven't used this one at all. It actually went up in weight change, so it was 3.63 grams. It's now 3.64 grams, so don't know what happened there. And then this shade is called Morocco from NYX. I've talked about this, they were in little individual books that I broke apart. So this one again, no weight change from last month, 2.89, still 2.89 grams. I think I did use this once, but no weight change. And then this is the one that, again, I was focusing on to hit pan. I said I'd pull it out once I've hit pan, but I think I'm just going to leave it in for now, at least for the next week or so. Like I said, lots of traveling, lots of chaos this month. Maybe by next update, there'll be a different shadow in there. I was thinking of maybe just working on it a bit more. The pan is small, but the shadow around it is very thin, so I feel like I can make that a much bigger pan in short order. So I might just focus on doing that and just make it a bit of a bigger pan, at least maybe over the next week or so, and then swap something else in. So this one, I don't know if I said the shade name, it's called Transylvania. It was 2.88 grams, it's now 2.85 grams, so that's a difference of 0.03 grams. So yeah, some progress, considering when I've been home, I've been trying to use this palette. I've been trying to make sure I use it fairly regularly so that there is some change on it because, yeah, it's been tricky. So I will put this side by side up. So definitely that one shade for sure. I think the Carly Bible shade and the Transylvania shade and probably that pink, the light pink shade will show difference as well. So we're moving along with that. It's slow, but it's going. Face palette. So I am working on the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. This has a bronzer and highlight in it. I'll throw this side by side up. I really don't think this is going to show anything different. Visually looking at it, I still feel like the bronzer side is slowly, the pattern's like getting less and less. The highlight, again, maybe in the middle a little bit. I feel like I've worn this a lot, but it just really is not. I mean, it's kind of good. I'm really getting my money's worth on this, but progress on this is very slow. So last month this was 104.02 grams. It's now 103.6 grams. That's a difference of 0.42 grams, which I used almost the exact same amount the first month that I used this, so 0.43. So we'll see what happens in the third month. Will it be close to half a gram again? I don't know. But yeah, I have been sort of focusing wearing this. I am wearing this over top. I do have a bit of the Tower 28 bronzer on, and then I put this on top. And this is not the highlight I'm wearing. I'm wearing my Project Pan highlight, which is the Kevyn Aucoin Candlelight powder. And then this guy, let me just throw the side by side up first. Again, probably won't see much of a difference at all with this one. I feel like I have been using it. This one's funny. So somebody commented on my last video about they are getting hard pan on this. I am definitely getting hard pan on this. It's not always noticeable. I've been kind of scraping it off on, it's really Dandelion I'm getting hard pan on. I do find California hard to pick up sometimes on a brush. That's the only thing I really don't like about this, is I feel like California is really hard to pick up on a brush, and Dandelion, it's getting hard pan, and I feel like I really have to, like, Dandelion just doesn't really show up, like, on my skin. Like, it's so pale that it barely shows up. And, like, I mean, I just did a swatch of my hand there. You can sort of see it. It's almost too pale. Like, former me in my 20s would have liked this blush because it's like a non-existent blush, but me today, especially with, it's looking okay right now, but can you see, like, the red blotchiness? I'm hoping my bangs are covering my forehead. My forehead's really dry and flaky and, like, red blotchy. It's a lot better than what it was. But man, my skin has just been freaking out. Every time I'm away from home, my skin freaks out. The funny thing about this, where was I going with that? Oh, like I am liking wearing a lot of blush because I feel like it helps blend the redness in my face. Like I'm sort of, instead of it being blotchy, it's like all one blush blob. It's like I'm utilizing some of the redness as like blush underneath, if that makes sense. Like I'm just trying to work with it in the best way that I can. And it's feeling a little bit better. I used one of the Dr. Dennis Gross peels. I've been putting, like I did a mask, a moisturizing sheet mask. It feels a bit better than it did a couple days ago, but like it's just been a hot mess. Anyway, the thing that I'm avoiding with this is the weight. The weight has been going up on this. It's gone up twice now, and I think it's really due to the fact that I'm getting hard pan and then I'm grinding my brush in. I think the theory in me is the oils from my skin and like grinding the brush in, I'm actually adding weight to it because the oils are getting into the powder. Like, again, like I said, I'm getting a bit of hard pan on this. That's my only theory. Like, I have no idea. But now, 2 months in a row, the weight on this has gone up. So last month, so when I started, it was 98.7. Last month, it was 98.73. It's now 98.81. So sometimes this is a lesson for all of us, that sometimes the weights just don't help us. And again, but sometimes with powder products, like if you have oily skin and you find you're having a hard time with weights with some of your powder products, I feel like this could be a reason for it. And yeah, if weights go up, don't get too stressed about it. Sometimes it's because you messed up. User error. And other times, it's just the product. The product is changing. And again, I think the hard pan and like how much I'm having to like push my brush into it, I think I'm pushing oils and like foundation and other products into it because I'm like going back and forth, which I don't normally do with most of my blushes. It's like normally I like swirl in, tap, 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 and then put it on, and then that's it. But I feel like I'm back and forthing a lot with this, and that's causing some funky things happening with the weight and with the product. So yeah, so that's it from the Project Pan part. I still haven't sorted out. I talked a lot about this in my last video. I can't remember exactly what I said in terms of how I was going to move forward, but I think I might have said like May is going to be off the table anyway because there's no way I can figure out what I'm doing with my palettes. Maybe I didn't mention that, but there's no way I can figure out during this month what I'm going to do with my palettes going forward. I'll need to deal with that in June. Things hopefully should settle down a little bit more in June. I say hopefully, but at the same time, I kind of I like all this travel. My bank account doesn't like all this travel. It is a little bit difficult. I feel like my life is a little bit chaos right now. But I enjoy it. It's like, how do you find that happy balance of like, I do like routine. I do like, you know, things to be normal. And I like things in my normal life that I like to normally do. But I like the fun and the difference and getting out there and seeing the world and doing different things. We can't have it all. Anyway, eyeshadow palette. So a couple things I just wanted to mention on eyeshadow palettes that I have been kind of using. So I did use a bunch of singles. If you watch, it'll be the last video that I had up before this, my Shop My Stash. I talked about like all the single shadows that I was using in Scotland, the shadows that I brought home, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So one of the palettes though that I have been kind of using on and off since last update. I think even in April, end of April, I pulled this out. This is the Wild Nothing palette from ColourPop. You see there is a missing shadow in there, which I'll get to in a minute, but really enjoy this. This is a great everyday palette. Yeah, and I talked about the Super Shocks though. I might even just like take them out because they're doing nothing for me. The other palette that I've been kind of playing with, I took this home with me because I was home at my family home, is this one, the Viseart Paris Edit palette. Again, I just noticed they have like a 60% off on their site, and there's a few things they're selling that are like last ofs. And I was like, no, I can't buy anything right now. I already bought some stuff when I was in Scotland, and eyeshadows are just not a thing I need to buy right now. And actually I did kind of briefly look, at least the ones in the ad weren't necessarily ones that I wanted anyway. So I'm kind of glad that ones that I want are not going away. They're not final, you know, clearance products. But anyway, I really enjoy these eyeshadows. I do really like them. I wish I had, again, more of them because I would like to be able to mix and match a little bit more and create some more custom palettes. And speaking of custom palettes, this is a palette I'm going to bring with me to Vegas. The Going Coconuts palette, but I did pull out some shadows and remix some things here. So I did just kind of want to show that. I did show it in my Shop My Stash, but I'm not sure how visually that really made sense. So these top three are Going Coconuts, and then these two are Going Coconuts, and the middle one. So I've replaced 1, 2, 3 shades in here. I wanted to replace this one, but I can't get it out because I wanted to put, ideally, I wanted to put one of these 2 shades at the bottom here. So this one or this one in instead. But for whatever reason, I can't get that one out. And I don't know, is that like a Super Shock one? Is there a reason why I can't get that one out? Everything else I can get out, but that one. So this one is from that Wild Nothing palette. And then these 2 are from the Carly Bible BH Cosmetics Deluxe Edition. So if you have the Carly Bible palette and you have these palettes, they can mix and match because they're the same size. These are small pans, so I do have, so just to kind of go back here, like this is a ColourPop shadow. It's too big. So the regular singles are too big for the Going Coconuts, but obviously some of the palettes that ColourPop has can be interchanged. I think the large ones, the super large ones, are smaller pans than this maybe. But yeah, any of the 9 quads or like anything that's at this size is gonna fit in these. I mean, I guess if I wanted more shades, I could have used this palette, but I feel like this is better, and I like that it's got the mirror on it. I just feel like this will travel better, I think. Anyway, that's what I'm taking with me to Vegas. I did talk about like maybe taking this and mixing and matching and all that. And I was like, and this and this and this, and like, I'm literally there for 4 days. Like, I know I might change my makeup like twice a day, maybe even 3 times a day when I'm there. But honestly, I'm probably just gonna do like what I did today, like a 2/3 shadow look where it's like deeper in the crease, something on the lid, and away we go. Maybe 2 shadows on the lid. I have a mix of 2 different colors on my lid today. Something like that. That's what I'm going to be doing every day with my eyeshadow. So yeah, that's my 4th update for my Pan That palette for 2023. If you like this video, feel free to give it a little thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my little channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.